Lynparza is a poly-ADP ribose polymerase PARP inhibitor indicated in combination with bevacizumab for the maintenance treatment of adult patients with advanced epithelial ovarian, fallopian tube, or primary peritoneal cancer who are in complete or partial response to first-line platinum-based chemotherapy and whose cancer is associated with homologous recombination deficiency, HRD-positive status defined by either a deleterious or suspected deleterious BRCA mutation and/or genomic instability. Select patients for therapy based on an FDA-approved companion diagnostic for Lynparza. Serious and potentially fatal adverse events included Myelodysplastic syndrome, acute myeloid leukemia. Monitor patients for hematological toxicity at baseline and monthly thereafter. Discontinue if MDS-AML is confirmed. Pneumonitis. Interrupt treatment if pneumonitis is suspected. Discontinue if confirmed. Venous thromboembolic events, including severe or fatal pulmonary embolism. Monitor patients for signs and symptoms of venous thrombosis and PE and treat as medically appropriate. Advise patients of the potential risk of embryo-fetal toxicity and to use effective contraception. Please see important safety information later in this video.
Hello, my name is Dr. Sharon Lewin. I'm the Director of Gynecologic Oncology at Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey. I'm also an assistant clinical professor in the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, New York. In this video, I am going to discuss the PAOLA-1 trial, which evaluated efficacy and safety of Lynparza and bevacizumab versus an active comparator bevacizumab plus placebo in women with newly diagnosed stage 3 or 4 ovarian cancer, regardless of BRCA mutation status. Patients were retrospectively tested for homologous recombination deficiency, or HRD, using the Myriad MyChoice test. This was defined as either a tumor, BRCA mutation, and/or an HRD score greater than or equal to 42 by the Myriad MyChoice companion diagnostic. The HRD score, or genomic instability, was based on loss of heterozygosity, telomeric allelic imbalance, and/or large-scale state transitions. Lynparza was administered at 300 milligrams twice daily for up to 24 months or until disease progression or unacceptable toxicity. All patients received bevacizumab at 15 milligrams per kilogram every 3 weeks for up to 15 months. Now, let's talk about the results of this trial. The median progression-free survival, or PFS, for the Lynparza and bevacizumab arm was approximately 3.1 years, or 37.2 months, and about 1.5 years, or 17.7 months in the placebo plus bevacizumab arm in the HRD-positive patients. These data are based upon a pre-specified exploratory subgroup analysis, which was not controlled for type 1 error. HRD status was not a stratification factor in PAOLA-1. In addition, the PFS within the HRD subgroup served as the basis for the FDA-approved indication. Now, let's look at the results of a post-hoc exploratory subgroup analysis of the HRD-positive patients in this trial. Patients were placed into 2 categories. The first group included the higher-risk patients who had stage 4 disease or stage 3 disease with upfront surgery and residual disease or neoadjuvant chemotherapy. The second group included the lower-risk patients who had stage 3 disease with upfront surgery and complete resection. There is no official clinical consensus on what is considered higher versus lower risk. Data are based on post-hoc exploratory subgroup analyses in 2 clinical subgroups, higher risk and lower risk, including biomarker status. Neither HRD status nor risk factor was a stratification factor in PAOLA-1. In the higher risk subgroup, the median PFS was 36 months in the combination arm and 16 months in the bevacizumab plus placebo arm with a hazard ratio of 0.39. In the lower risk subgroup, the median PFS was not reached in the combination arm and 22.1 months in the bevacizumab plus placebo arm with a hazard ratio of 0.15. The 1 and 2 year analyses are descriptive only and did not control for type 1 error. The PAOLA-1 trial was not designed to detect statistical significance between treatment groups at these time points. Next, let's take a deeper dive into HRD to give you an idea of how common this is in ovarian cancer. Approximately half of the patients in the PAOLA-1 trial were HRD positive. This prevalence rate is also consistent in the general ovarian cancer population. BRCA mutations are one aspect of HRD, but there are other factors that are also associated with HRD. In fact, approximately 1 in 2 women who are HRD positive do not have a BRCA mutation. So it's important to keep in mind that all women with a BRCA mutation are HRD positive, but not all women who are HRD positive have a BRCA mutation. As with any trial, it is important to be aware of the adverse reactions, or ARs. As shown with the green bars on the left, some of the most common ARs observed with Lynparza and bevacizumab were fatigue, nausea, and anemia. Most of the adverse reactions were grade 1 or 2. Fatal ARs occurred in one patient due to concurrent pneumonia and aplastic anemia. Serious ARs occurred in 31% of patients who received Lynparza plus bevacizumab. Serious ARs in greater than 5% of patients included hypertension and anemia. In addition, venous thromboembolic events occurred more commonly in patients receiving Lynparza plus bevacizumab than in those receiving placebo plus bevacizumab. As we continue to explore the safety profile of the PAOLA-1 study, it is important to note that the laboratory abnormalities in this study were mostly grade 1 and grade 2. At least one lab abnormality was reported in 80% of patients in the active treatment arm and 50% in the active comparator arm. Grades 3 or 4 lab abnormalities were experienced by about 13% of patients in the active treatment arm and 4% in the active comparator arm. The most common lab abnormality was decrease in hemoglobin, which was reported in approximately 80% of patients in the Lynparza plus bevacizumab arm and over 50% of patients in the placebo plus bevacizumab arm. To manage ARs experienced in the PAOLA-1 study, dose interruptions and dose reductions were commonly used. We see that about 50% of patients needed Lynparza dose interruption. The trial allowed interruption of Lynparza for up to 4 weeks. Lynparza dose reductions occurred in about 40% of patients, and 20% of patients discontinued Lynparza due to ARs. Keep in mind there are management strategies for ARs. Please see the patient counseling section of the prescribing information for more information. Patient education and support on potential ARs are very important. In conclusion, as we discussed previously, an impressive improvement in median PFS was observed in the PAOLA-1 trial. In women with HRD-positive tumors who were treated with Lynparza plus bevacizumab, a median PFS of approximately 3.1 years, or 37.2 months, was achieved versus about 1.5 years, or 17.7 months, in women treated with placebo plus bevacizumab. Tumor testing for HRD genomic instability helps ensure that approximately 50% of women eligible for treatment with Lynparza plus bevacizumab are identified. So remember to perform HRD testing and offer Lynparza plus bevacizumab to your eligible patients. Next, we will review the important safety information for Lynparza.
Important safety information. Contraindications. There are no contraindications for Lynparza. Warnings and precautions. Myelodysplastic syndrome, acute myeloid leukemia, MDS-AML, occurred in approximately 1.5% of patients exposed to Lynparza monotherapy, and the majority of events had a fatal outcome. The median duration of therapy in patients who developed MDS-AML was 2 years, Range: less than 6 months to greater than 10 years. All of these patients had previous chemotherapy with platinum agents and/or other DNA-damaging agents, including radiotherapy. Do not start Lynparza until patients have recovered from hematological toxicity caused by previous chemotherapy, less than or equal to grade 1. Monitor complete blood count for cytopenia at baseline and monthly thereafter for clinically significant changes during treatment. For prolonged hematological toxicities, interrupt Lynparza and monitor blood count weekly until recovery. If the levels have not recovered to grade 1 or less after 4 weeks, refer the patient to a hematologist for further investigations, including bone marrow analysis and blood sample for cytogenetics. Discontinue Lynparza if MDS-AML is confirmed. Pneumonitis occurred in 0.8% of patients exposed to Lynparza monotherapy, and some cases were fatal. If patients present with new or worsening respiratory symptoms, such as dyspnea, cough, and fever, or a radiological abnormality occurs, interrupt Lynparza treatment and initiate prompt investigation. Discontinue Lynparza if pneumonitis is confirmed and treat patient appropriately. Venous thromboembolic events, VTE, including severe or fatal pulmonary embolism, PE, occurred in patients treated with Lynparza. Monitor patients for signs and symptoms of venous thrombosis and pulmonary embolism and treat as medically appropriate, which may include long-term anticoagulation as clinically indicated. Embryo-fetal toxicity. Based on its mechanism of action and findings in animals, Lynparza can cause fetal harm. A pregnancy test is recommended for females of reproductive potential prior to initiating treatment. Females. Advise females of reproductive potential of the potential risk to a fetus and to use effective contraception during treatment and for 6 months following the last dose. Adverse reactions. First-line maintenance advanced ovarian cancer in combination with bevacizumab. Most common adverse reactions, grades 1 through 4, in greater than or equal to 10% of patients treated with Lynparza, bevacizumab, and at a greater than or equal to 5% frequency compared to placebo bevacizumab in the first-line maintenance setting for PAOLA-1 were nausea 53%, fatigue, including asthenia 53%, anemia 41%, lymphopenia 24%, vomiting 22%, and leukopenia 18%. In addition, the most common adverse reactions, greater than or equal to 10% for patients receiving Lynparza bevacizumab irrespective of the frequency compared with the placebo bevacizumab arm were diarrhea 18%, neutropenia 18%, urinary tract infection 15%, and headache 14%. In addition, venous thromboembolic events occurred more commonly in patients receiving Lynparza bevacizumab, 5%, than in those receiving placebo bevacizumab, 1.9%. Most common laboratory abnormalities, grades 1 through 4, in greater than or equal to 25% of patients for Lynparza in combination with bevacizumab in the first-line maintenance setting for PAOLA-1 were decrease in hemoglobin, 79%, decrease in lymphocytes, 63%, increase in serum creatinine, 61%, decrease in leukocytes, 59%, decrease in absolute neutrophil count, 35%, and decrease in platelets, 35%. Drug interactions. Anti-cancer agents. Clinical studies of Lynparza with other myelosuppressive anti-cancer agents, including DNA-damaging agents, indicate a potentiation and prolongation of myelosuppressive toxicity. CYP3A inhibitors. Avoid co-administration of strong or moderate CYP3A inhibitors when using Lynparza. If a strong or moderate CYP3A inhibitor must be co-administered, reduce the dose of Lynparza. Advise patients to avoid grapefruit, grapefruit juice, Seville oranges, and Seville orange juice during Lynparza treatment. CYP3A inducers. Avoid co-administration of strong or moderate CYP3A inducers when using Lynparza. Use in specific populations. Lactation. No data are available regarding the presence of olaparib in human milk, its effects on the breastfed infant, or on milk production. Because of the potential for serious adverse reactions in the breastfed infant, advise a lactating woman not to breastfeed during treatment with Lynparza and for 1 month after receiving the final dose. Pediatric use. The safety and efficacy of Lynparza have not been established in pediatric patients. Hepatic impairment. No adjustment to the starting dose is required in patients with mild or moderate hepatic impairment. Child Pew classification A and B. There are no data in patients with severe hepatic impairment. Child Pew classification C. Renal impairment. No dosage modification is recommended in patients with mild renal impairment. CLCR 51 to 80 milliliters per minute, estimated by Cockcroft-Gault. In patients with moderate renal impairment, CLCR 31 to 50 milliliters per minute, reduce the dose of Lynparza to 200 milligrams twice daily. There are no data in patients with severe renal impairment or end-stage renal disease, CLCR less than or equal to 30 milliliters per minute. Please see complete prescribing information, including medication guide, at the URL shown on the screen. You may report side effects related to AstraZeneca products at the URL shown on the screen or by calling 1-800-236-9933.
Thank you for your time. I hope you found the information presented to be useful for your clinical practice.